Welcome back to Fast Market here on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks. But let's bring in our next guest for our cash tag segment. That's going to be Andy Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio. Welcome back to the show, Andy.
Hey, happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. So we're talking travel companies, we're talking Airbnb. As I mentioned, this stock is just off of all-time lows that we hit just at the end of December here. And, you know, Andy, we've been talking about this theme over the last year that people are traveling, people are going for experiences, and this stock continues to be under pressure. Are you guys seeing negative data out of LikeFolio on this one? Because it's kind of making a head scratcher out of me.
Yeah, it's so it is a little bit negative. I think one of the things that's really hurt Airbnb is kind of the public and consumer perception of value. When we look at consumer happiness levels across Airbnb versus some of the major hotel chains, all the hotel chains is about the same, and then you got Airbnb significantly lower. And I think a lot of this is just the fact that people, at first it was a novel idea to go stay in a house, get a different experience, a different part of town than the hotels could build in. But it does get old to go to Airbnbs and then have a list of things to do that you have to do before you can leave the property. Whereas a hotel, last time I was in a hotel yesterday, we checked out, and having teenagers, it looked like a bomb had gone off in the place when we were on our way out, and we weren't worried about upsetting the staff. That's what they're there for. They're happy to accommodate you. Whereas Airbnb, the host may give you a bad rating and try to keep some of your deposits. So I think that gets old for people. But I do think overall Airbnb's in a good spot because travel is coming back, and it's a nice tailwind, and we think that's going to accelerate significantly into 2023 as people move around the country and now the world. With China reopening, a lot of pent-up demand from China travelers, I think, is going to be a big boost for all of these companies, including Airbnb.
Andy, 90% of the people that stay in an Airbnb do it without the help of any advertising, right? They do it a completely different way. Matter of fact, when Airbnb started to do ads in 2021, the ads were for hosts, not guests. They actually want to get their supply of homes higher, is what they advertised for. They've currently got about 6.2 million, but some of the fears from analysts are going to have trouble raising the inventory level in order for them to grow. Are you seeing any fears or problems in the growth of actually homes versus customers?
Yeah, I think so. I think, this is one of those kind of pin action things that happens when interest rates go up, because there was a period of time there where the Fed was pretty much giving you free money. You could get a mortgage on one of these places for very, very low interest rates, and it was naturally going to pay you more by having people Airbnb and stay there. So you were almost guaranteed a profit on that spread through owning the property. I think that's completely gone away now. And in fact, you've got a lot of these most recently purchased Airbnbs in the later parts of 2022, where now they're facing high interest rates and a little bit of competition from the hotels and from other Airbnbs. And now it starts to become a net negative, cash flow situation to own some of these properties. And so what do? You take them off the market, you try to sell them, or maybe you go ahead and move down to that Florida house that you were waiting a few years to go to and just taking that passive income in the meantime. So a lot of triggers have happened here. And I do think that the company's going to have a tough time because its customer or its hosts, the people it relies on to build inventory for it, have a much different economic environment that they're playing in than just 2 years ago.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to kind of expand on a little bit. Andy, you mentioned that, when you leave a hotel, you just leave a hotel, right? You check out, or maybe you check out on your TV or not at all, and you just get a bill, right? You get your receipt in your email box, inbox. But when I look at this, I'm the same way. In Airbnb, it's just hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, and then fees after fees after fees, and it just doesn't make it a seamless experience at this point. But if the consumer stays robust as far as travel goes, does your data, even though it's got low happiness, does your data support the fact that, hey, maybe Airbnb is getting sold off too much at this point because the hotels did okay last year?
Yeah, I think so. When we look at the change in purchase intent, which is essentially consumer demand for the hotel chains and Airbnb, throw them all together. Airbnb's got a nice growth rate year over year, right in the middle of all of those others. And so I think that all of that consumer angst around staying with an Airbnb, it really doesn't matter too much if there's a huge tailwind of booming travel, booming vacation taking in 2023, China reopening. All of that tailwind we think is very real and accelerating. So I think Airbnb's got some time they're going to get away with their problems a little bit more than the market's expecting because of that increase in overall demand and what that will do to hotel prices and the competitive landscape there. So hopefully Airbnb can fix these problems that cause consumers so much angst and gets them out of the mood to even deal with Airbnb again. I think they're taking steps in the right direction. They're getting a little more transparent on fees and that sort of thing. So hopefully they've listened to the market, both the consumer and the stock market. And I think some of that tax loss selling at the end of 2022 might have been overdone, and Airbnb might be a pretty good pickup here.
Now, they don't have earnings for about 5 weeks. If you did have an earnings score right now, what would it be?
Yeah, it'd be positive because of the sell-off in the stock. Mostly, I think this is a company that's going to benefit from macro tailwinds for some time to come, and they got some internal problems to fix, but they're a pretty robust company with a good executive team. We think they'll get it done in 23.
All right, great stuff, great data as usual. Andy, appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too, thanks.
All right, that's Andy Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio, breaking down the data on Airbnb.